Have you ever looked at an old photograph and felt a chill? Not from the subject, but from something else, something that shouldn't be there. A shadow with no source, a face in the window of an empty house, a hand resting on a shoulder where no one stands. We call them photographic anomalies, development errors, tricks of the light. But what if the photograph itself is a witness? What if film can capture more than just light? I'm Ibnul J. Farabi, and this is the Unexplained Archive. In the autumn of 1987, in the South London suburb of Thornton Heath, a local photography club embarked on a simple project. 5 friends, amateur enthusiasts, decided to document the vanishing Edwardian architecture of their neighborhood before it was lost to new development. They were methodical. They used the same brand of high-grade black and white film, the same development chemicals, and they meticulously logged their shots. They called themselves, jokingly, the Thornton Heath 5. The first roll came back perfectly normal. But on the second outing, something changed. Each of the 5 photographers, shooting different buildings on different streets, independently captured something strange. When their films were developed, every single negative contained an extra figure. Not in every shot, but in one shot per roll. This figure was always a man in a heavy, old-fashioned overcoat and a wide-brimmed hat. His face perpetually turned just away from the camera. He appeared on the sidewalk, in a doorway, or reflected in a window. He was solid, detailed, unmistakable. And according to each photographer, he was not there when they clicked the shutter. They compared notes, baffled. They checked their logs. They even had their cameras and film inspected. No technical fault could be found. Intrigued, they made it their mission. For 6 months, they shot roll after roll across Thornton Heath. And in roughly 1 out of every 36 exposures, the length of a standard roll, the overcoat man would appear. He was never in the same place twice, but his attire never changed. He became their ghost, their persistent, photographic echo. The strangest part was the analysis. A forensic photography expert from Scotland Yard, who one of the members knew, examined the prints. He concluded the figure was not a double exposure, not a light leak, and not a chemical stain. The figure existed on the original negatives with perfect photographic logic. He cast shadows consistent with the other objects in the frame, and in one remarkable shot, he was slightly blurred, as if he had moved during the exposure, just like a living subject would. The emulsion, the very silver halide crystals on the film, had recorded light that reflected off of him. But what was him? Then, as suddenly as it began, it stopped. In March of 1988, after a final, fruitless shoot, the phenomenon ceased. The overcoat man never appeared again. The Thornton Heath 5 scoured historical archives, hoping to find a match for their ghost. They found only a single, cryptic lead, a brief news item from 1922 about a local watchman, a man known for his heavy coat, who had vanished without a trace one foggy night. His case was never solved. There was no photograph of him to compare. So what were they capturing? A collective hallucination etched on a celluloid? A time slip, where a moment from 1922 briefly superimposed itself onto 1987, or something about the very nature of photography itself. We think of a camera as a passive recorder, but what if it's a kind of listener? What if, under specific, unknown conditions, it can develop not just the light of the present moment, but the emotional residue of a place? A lingering echo of loss, or longing, made manifest in silver and shadow. It makes me look at my own camera differently. As an engineer, I want a flaw in the process, a clean, logical explanation. But as a storyteller, I'm captivated by the idea that some stories refuse to end. They develop in the dark, waiting for the right combination of place, time, and attention to bring them into view. The Thornton Heath 5 developed more than film. They developed a mystery. And the overcoat man remains, forever in focus, forever turning away, a secret held fast in the emulsion. This has been the Unexplained Archive. Our stories are produced by Light Not Studios. Find more threads to pull at lightnotstudios.com.